Welcome to the Live Up Podcast, where we revisit the movies from our youth to see if they live up. Quick note on how this will go. We will review, discuss, and score the movie in question to see if it lives up to us now as adults and whether it lives up to kids today. I'm Jess Latterman.
And I'm Amanda Treat. On today's episode, Disney would like you to know. This program includes negative depictions and or mistreatment of people or cultures. These stereotypes were wrong then and are wrong now. I was not expecting to see that warning on 1992's Aladdin.
Yeah, that was...
Oh my goodness.
That was a long warning. Is that exactly what it said?
That wasn't even all of it.
That wasn't even...
That's the beginning of it. It keeps going from there. Yeah.
You know, Lily, my daughter, read it, actually, because I think she didn't notice it. Or I don't think the first time we watched this movie as a family, it was on there.
Maybe not. This is a new warning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, it definitely primed me to wonder, like, oh my God, what are they warning us about? And then I couldn't unsee it when, they're moving through the movie and there's things popping up in the background. You're like, oh, Aladdin.
But I don't think this is not something that parents have to worry about. I don't even think the politically correct among us will have to... no, there's no boycotting here. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, there was an uproar when the movie came out.
Oh, really?
I
didn't know that.
Yes. My friend had the original cassette, and that first song, the line in it was, they'll chop off your hands if they don't like
your face. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And they had to change all that because there was a big outcry like, hi, we don't do that. What is wrong with you, Disney? Who put that in there?
Howard Ashman put that in there. So,
But yeah, so she had the cassette, and since we all used to tape cassettes off each other.
Yeah, that's the line 90s, I remember. I don't even know if I noticed that they changed it.
Oh, they changed it immediately, but they couldn't get it out of the theater and they couldn't get it off the cassettes they'd already sold. So that was the bootleg I had, was the one with the cut off your hands line. And we, at the time, were like, oh, we're not supposed to have this one. Uh-oh. Jess, last time you and I spoke, which was in person, woohoo, you told me that you needed to catch up on the final 45 minutes of Aladdin because your kids went and watched the ending without you.
They did.
Did you catch up on this? And what is your history watching Aladdin?
Yeah, I finally did catch up on it just last night, actually. I've seen this with my family a few times, with my kids. My kids are now 12 and 7, but I think we first watched this when they were much younger, like maybe 9 and 4. I mean, they love this movie. So, yeah, we watched it. It got late, and I was like, you know what? We'll watch the second half tomorrow. And then the kids didn't have school tomorrow, and they basically watched it without me. And I was like, hey, guys, we're supposed to watch this together.
So mean.
But then when I watched the second half, the last 45 minutes again last night, my daughter sat and watched it with me again, which is like about a week later. As a kid, I remember seeing this in the theater. So I know that you always remember your specific theater moments. But I do remember seeing this. It was definitely a sold out theater. I remember thinking that all the animation was like totally cool because I think it was cutting edge at the time. And even after seeing it in the theater, I mean, my brother and I watched this a fair amount. I mean, I know all the words to the lyrics as well as to the dialogue. And I'll say this is one of the movies that Elena has actually seen a lot of, unlike many of the other ones.
Wow.
I know.
Good job, Elena.
We both have nostalgia for it. But what about you?
Oh, I have to take you down a treat family memory lane trip.
I'm excited.
Here.
I did not read your notes, so I have no idea what you're about to tell me.
Oh, I wrote a novel in the notes section for the first time I saw this movie. Yes, I do remember seeing it in the theater. It happened to be that my family was on a trip to Disney World, not a regular thing for us, so very memorable. And it was the week Aladdin was released, which was, once again, that week between Thanksgiving and Christmas where parents just need to get the kids out of the house.
I'm familiar,
and do something with
yes.
them. But since we were at Disney World, it was like vacationing in an immersive promotion for this movie. Like everything was Aladdin.
That's kind of cool that you were there.
Yeah. So like the theme parks, they had the characters already there and they were already part of the parade and there was just signage everywhere. Like go see Aladdin. And then the hotels all had it and the restaurants all had it. It was basically like Jafar was holding a hypnotizing serpent staff up in their faces. Like you will see Aladdin. Disney does not hold back on marketing
really
its own parks when the movie's coming out. So we saw it opening day.
Awesome.
Since we'd all been primed for this being the biggest, greatest movie we were ever going to see in our lives, you know what? it totally felt like it was.
Yeah.
Like, it was amazing.
I mean, you saw it
to
at
see that.
Disney. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's jokes in the movie about, like, I'm going to Disney World. And it's like, we are at Disney World.
Right.
And there's jokes about, like, the Macy's parade. And it was like, we just watched that on TV. Because we're here after Thanksgiving. So, like, everything just felt super relevant to where we were right at that moment in a movie theater, owned probably by Disney.
Probably, yeah.
Just everything epically Disney. That was the second time I remember laughing so hard at a movie that it like physically started to hurt. The first one being Home Alone, which
classic.
Listen to that episode.
Good plug. Yes. Good plug for a previous episode.
Yeah, check out Home Alone. But yeah, no, I was like dying because like I knew who Robin Williams was and like
I did too.
Had seen Dead Poets Society, and I'd seen some of his stand-up. I might have even seen Good Morning Vietnam by that point.
I think I might have too. I remember being excited to see... Like, I knew he was funny. So I remember being excited to see him in this.
And, like, he's off the rails in this movie. Fully unleashed. And I know I didn't even get all the jokes he was making and the impressions he was doing, but it didn't matter. It was Thanksgiving. We were at Disney World.
On vacation.
This movie blew my mind.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love... Your origin stories for all your movies are so epic. Like, this is pretty... And so I think I'm pretty sure I saw it opening weekend, too. We're sitting in some theater on the same day, maybe.
This movie made more money than any Disney movie ever had before. Like, it beat all the records, although then The Lion King came out a year later and totally blew that out of the water. But wait, this is a sidetrack from a sidetrack. I need to tell you how this trip to Disney World ended.
Oh, okay. What happened? Did you leave a member of the Treat family in a parking lot with a lasagna? Because I feel like you could have.
But our American Tail episode prompted that memory from my youngest sister. It was like, oh, they probably just left the baby mouse at Vinny Testa's like you guys did to me when I was a 2-year-old.
We're here for your childhood trauma, Treat family.
Sorry, Lydia. No, this particular memory, we had our final night at Disney World, and the same time that Aladdin was released, 1 month earlier, they opened that ride Splash Mountain, which is based on, it was a log flume ride based on Song of the South, and that's the movie that really, really, really needs that warning message that we cited earlier.
Yeah, skip it? Don't. Okay, good to know.
So, like, they have, like, the Disney Channel at all the hotels, and they're showing off the new ride, and someone had brought a TV camera or something on this log flume ride and shown there's this awesome skyline view from the top of the ride, and like they took the camera over the log flume and it was like, whoa, that's cool. And my child brain saw that on the TV in the hotel and was like, hell yes, I'm taking a picture from the top of Splash Mountain with my little wind up 35mm camera that my parents gave me for Christmas.
That's cute.
With film, you know?
Listeners, this is what we did before smartphones, at least the young listeners that we have.
And then send it out to be developed and learn that the pictures are terrible. Like, that was a whole
you didn't know they were terrible until you got it back.
Oh, not for weeks. Yeah. So I thought I was going to get this Pulitzer Prize winning skyline shot of the Magic Kingdom. I've got my camera. We're going up the ride. They're cranking you up to the top of the waterfall, and it holds there for a second. So I took my camera out, took this picture, and then thought, no, this is an amazing photo. I have to protect the camera. So I bent over and tucked it into my shirt. Mm-hmm. And we go slamming down Splash Mountain, and my face cracked into the safety bar so hard. Completely broke my nose on the safety bar because I was trying to like hide the camera, or not hide the camera, but like keep the camera dry. And then I'm down at the bottom of this thing, and there's fucking chickens singing Zippity Doo Dah.
And you're like, fuck you, chickens.
And I'm just like, my nose is so swollen, and my eyes are like tearing up, and everything's swelling. And we got off that ride, and I was like, Dad, I think I broke my nose. Like, and he was like, no, he was like, we gotta go. You shouldn't have done that. That was stupid. You shouldn't have been like in a weird position on a log flume ride. So then we left, and we didn't sue them or go to the infirmary or anything.
I mean, to be fair, little bit of user...
That's what dads did.
It is, but it's a little bit of user error. I don't think it was the log flume ride. Wait, did you get the shot, though? Is it a good shot?
No, it was blurry as hell. Like, I sent the film out. Oh, a couple weeks later, nothing. Yeah, broke my nose for nothing on Splash Mountain. But that was that same trip, and I will never forget
So traumatic. Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's so funny. I did not know that story, and I clearly did not read this in the notes at the time. That's insane.
And my dad was like, your fault. We're going.
Oh my God.
Yep.
That's insane.
So.
All right, so we've now associated your broken nose trauma with this movie, but you still liked it.
Yeah.
And
I liked the movie. There's an adjacent Splash Mountain broken nose.
I feel like I would be mad if my kid broke their freaking nose on Splash Mountain because they were doing something like you were doing. I'd be like, oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. No, my dad was like, my kids are not smart. It's time to go to the hotel.
I'm going to have some tea with some princesses.
I will try not to break any bones on a Disney ride going forward. All right, we should talk about Aladdin.
Yeah, we should talk about the movie. There are no log flumes.
Yes.
I don't think.
There are not.
There are slides down like big money piles, but no log flumes.
And there's a magic carpet. I was going to save this for the end, but while we're talking about wild rides, how fast does that thing go? I measured it on Google Maps. I was like, Beijing, because they go to watch the fireworks.
Oh, that's
and then
right.
They're back in the same
And they
night.
go to Egypt,
I was like, you're doing 6,000, 7,000 miles.
It's magic.
Each way.
They travel by map, probably, too.
It is a map. They might travel by map. But
it's like Santa Claus going
wow.
around the world. It's fine.
Thing is clocking like 3,000 miles an hour. That seems a little fast. But anyway.
It's magic.
There is no safety seatbelts.
Jasmine's not breaking her nose as she's...
Jasmine never broke her nose on the magic carpet from what we saw.
That was in the outtake bloopers.
Yeah. Oops.
Jasmine.
Let's talk about Aladdin. Jess, would you care to give one of your fantastic plot summaries for anybody who's been living under a rock and has never heard of or seen Aladdin?
I assume if you're listening, you know the story. But, so Aladdin, it's another classic Disney Road to Marriage movie, but is a whole new world because it's Middle Eastern with a whip-smart princess and a genie with manic energy. Somewhere in there is Aladdin, and I guess he's okay. And this is also another masterwork from the Howard Ashman and Alan Menken Dream Team. So that, to me, the music is just a part of this movie, as it was in Beauty and the Beast, as I think it is in Little Mermaid, and as Lin-Manuel Miranda's soundtrack is to Encanto.
Yes.
Yeah.
Coming in with my nerdy notes that I
like your nerdy notes.
So I remember the story of Aladdin growing up, and then this movie has completely wiped that memory from me and everything through the Disney blender, and we just remember this.
In my little kid, 12-year-old, 11-year-old brain, Disney just makes up stories and presents them to us. And I know that's not true.
They take public domain stories and they fix them up the way they like them. But so this is a story that comes from Syria originally, or the storyteller who was first.
There's your Middle Eastern flair in there. Okay.
Yeah. But it's actually not supposed to be set in the Middle East. It's set in China. So that's their 1600s Syrian version of a galaxy far, far away. It's always fun to tell stories about somewhere else.
Yeah.
So this definitely is not set in China, except for one scene where they travel on a 3,000 mile per
travel
hour
my map
magic carpet to get to Beijing, watch some fireworks, make it back home.
That was probably a purposeful reference, I assume. I assume it is.
Might have been, actually. So I think a lot of people think this is part of Arabian Nights, but it's actually getting confused with Alibaba and the many, many thieves. I've forgotten how many
40
thieves there are in that story.
I don't know.
But they're both tales about orphans.
Yeah.
That are set roughly around the same time. So I think people just cross them a lot. And I was really interested in learning that the original version of Aladdin does have a plot twist at the end that the princess, with her womanly wiles, air quotes, helps recover the lamp and slay the sorcerer at the end.
Oh, so she actually slays the sorcerer?
No, but she tricks the sorcerer
so
that Aladdin is able to get the lamp back, which I think you and I will talk about in depth because that's one of the cringier parts of this movie, but it is actually canon, I guess. Disney chose to include that. They didn't have to, but that was in the original story.
Well, that almost makes me feel better about it, that it's cringe circa 1600s. So, all right.
I still don't totally forgive it, but we'll get to that. The final thing that I had in the back of my mind, originally, or the first few drafts of this movie, instead of Agrabah, it was actually set in Baghdad.
Oh, really?
But there's a reason you can't make a movie set in Baghdad in 1992.
Oh, that's right.
I have to imagine when George Bush, the first one, was like, we're invading Iraq, that Disney was probably like, damn it, we have to rewrite the script to Aladdin.
Oh, that's so interesting. So originally, so was the script originally just true to that, like set in Baghdad?
It was originally set in Baghdad.
Oh, and that's so interesting.
Came up with the name. So Agrabah is a fictitious city, but it started as a word scramble with Baghdad, and they like moved all the letters around. Clearly, it's there's some more D's in Baghdad that are missing here, but yeah, that was where they came up with the name Agrabah. It was a word scramble on Baghdad.
I guess I should back up because there are some younger listeners. So yes, the U.S. invaded Iraq in 1991, which they were developing this movie then, and it was released in 1992. And this is the first time we ever invaded Iraq.
The first time a George Bush invaded Iraq.
I shouldn't laugh.
Then there was a second time that another George Bush invaded Iraq, and both of them, one went better than the other, but either way, we can't set the movie in Baghdad.
Right, and
it's, bad time.
I realized that might have confused younger listeners who might not have realized that there was a first time. I'm sure they did, because our listeners are very smart. So it's fine.
They're very smart. And they know all about 35 millimeter film that you have to put in your camera and wind it up. And then after you've taken the whole roll, but not the two on the end that they always get tossed out, you take it to the Costco. And that was the cheapest prices for developing film.
I don't think anyone develops them anymore.
It was a time.
I think that's the most interesting. I didn't think about the fact that just generally this was set in the Middle East in the context of there were troops there at the time. This is not a politics or world foreign affairs podcast, but I just didn't, I think as a 12-year-old, any of that kind of context would have just flown over my head anyway.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But I can now, as an adult, picture the Disney screenwriters
going, oh shit!
Like they've already written the script. They've written a lot of the songs. I could see some executive's head exploding. Like, what do you mean we're going to war where our next Disney kids movie is
Oh my
set?
God, totally.
You've got to be kidding.
Totally. Someone had a meltdown and there was an emergency meeting. Absolutely. Several.
There were so many Diet Cokes were consumed. They were very stressed out. All right. Well, you mentioned that this is the final pairing of Howard Ashman and Alan Menken, the Dream Team. This has a phenomenal soundtrack, really fun songs with great lyrics. And before we dive in on the characters, let's talk about our favorite songs.
I'm going to plug our Beauty and the Beast episode, where we did talk about Howard Ashman quite a bit. So they worked on 3 movies together. They worked on, this being the last one, they worked on Beauty and the Beast, and The Little Mermaid was their first one. And there's a great documentary on Disney called Howard. I highly recommend it. So Howard Ashman died of AIDS in March of 1991. So about a year and a half before Aladdin came out, and even before Beauty and the Beast came out, which is really sad to me that he didn't see the success of it. So he died of AIDS then. But before he wrote these great Disney movies with Alan Menken, he created and wrote the music for Little Shop of Horrors, which I think is amazing that the same mind that made a man-eating plant also wrote songs about Prince Ali and all that. I just love that. He was sick when he was writing this, so he didn't finish all those songs. So there's a few songs that are credited to him here, and then a few that aren't.
I think Tim Rice
stepped in,
so the Broadway writer.
Yeah, so it happens to be my favorite songs, and I did not know this ahead of time, but Arabian Nights, Prince Ali, and Friend Like Me are all the Dream Team, we'll call them. So he was a part of all that. So I'm just very sad because I think about, what could have been in terms of all the other music that we didn't get to hear. But I highly recommend everybody learn more about him. I think he was a genius. And I will just say that I think if you watch The Lion King, there is a quality difference between these sets of movies. And then the music, we really don't get good music till we get Lin-Manuel Miranda, I think. but I controversial opinion.
I will stick up for the Lion King because I think Elton John and I'm blanking on his name, the guy who does the lyrics for Elton John. But I thought they did a nice job too. Yeah, it's different. You definitely detect it's not the same pairing, but I thought they did a nice
job. But this to me is a masterwork. I really feel like this is great music, and it just didn't reach that level, I think, until we got to Moana. So, not that I'm some freaking expert. I sound like such an asshole right now, but so those are happen to be my favorite songs, and my daughter also really likes Arabian Nights. So, anyway, but what about you, Amanda? Do you have a favorite song? Are they all Howard Ashman ones?
It probably actually is all the Howard Ashman ones. I think we seem to be agreeing here that A Whole New World is not the greatest song.
It isn't. It's the weakest one.
Ooh, 2 thumbs down from Jess.
But 12-year-old you, because 12-year-old me loved that song. I think Disney really pushed it. It was actually all over MTV.
Oh,
I remember waiting for the countdown to see this music video. I loved the song. Yeah. But as an adult watching...
This was the Peebo, and it was the Peebo, Bryson, Regina Bell version.
Okay.
You know, they always have, like, Celine Dion.
Right,
or
someone else singing
come
it.
in and record the credits sequence.
But I watching as an adult, I think it's the weakest song by far.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I was, like, less interested in that, even though the scene itself is visually beautiful, the way they're flying around and...
Travel by map.
Scaring birds off a pond or whatever they're doing. Yeah, no, I would agree. I weirdly like the Prince Ali song. There's that
I love that song. That's my actual hands down favorite.
Yeah, the moment where the elephant kicks open the door to the palace and it just hits a crescendo. Like, I still felt that. That's so funny. It's so epic. And it's just Robin Williams singing his heart out. Like, it's so good.
So good.
So as a kind of weird experiment, but not really, have you ever seen that mashup that Disney released when Frozen came out and they had all the women singing Let It Go in all the different languages?
Oh, I did not see that. Hold on. I want to correct my statement that Frozen has good music. I went all the way to Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah, you jumped ahead.
I did jump ahead, but Frozen's good. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Okay. Don't hate me.
So if you go on YouTube, Disney released a video of all the different vocalists singing. So it starts with Idina Menzel singing Let It Go in English, but then it cuts like, here it is in French, here it is in Korean, here it is in Catalonian, here it is in German,
That's
and
cool.
Like here it is in Vietnamese. And it's just cut so well together, but all of these women can sing.
Yeah,
and
you'd have
phenomenal. So I, as an experiment, was typing my notes out for this episode, but I started listening to the Broadway recordings and was like, all right, obviously they're phenomenal singers. But then listened to Will Smith's recordings of it and was like, oh,
I'm making a face,
no.
listeners. It was no good. How could it possibly be good? No offense, Will Smith.
He's got like the joy of it, but he just doesn't have the power. Like I don't consider Robin Williams a great singer, but like he
has a presence though. He has this like crazy presence that's kind of still there.
Like him holding the note at the end of like friend like me. Like I can't sing, so I'm not doing it. But like that part at the end where he's just giving it his all, it sounds so good. So yeah, Will Smith, sorry, not so great. You know who can crush it? The Japanese singer.
Yeah, you were saying you're listening to this in Japanese. I have to listen to this.
I went back and did the whole soundtrack in Japanese. But the guy playing the genie and doing that voiceover in Japanese, he can crush it. He was a good singer. So it's all on whatever streaming services you're on. They have the soundtracks in all the different languages. So like, just skip through it. It's kind of fun.
I have to do that. I'll post some links on the socials. Good plug at Live Up Pod. I'll post everything.
Yeah. And if there's a language that you have a couple of words in or like some proficiency, but you only need a few words and listen to it, you know the words so well in English that you're listening to it in Spanish or whatever, and you're just like, I know what they're saying. I know exactly where we are in the song, and like, wow, this is great.
It's awesome.
So that was fun. Random, but fun.
I mean, I didn't even know back then in 1992 that they would record it in other languages. But so Prince Ali, I think, is great. It has a sense of place. It's clever because you have, if folks don't remember, they panned to all the different scenes going on during the parade. So you have like all these ladies being like, ew, he's so cute. and you have the kids, playing with the swords.
And the genie's just zipping around, creating chaos in that whole scene. And there's chaos. Like elephants and monkeys and let's go crazy. Like, that's the way, if I ever get to march into something formally, I want that level of entourage. Like, I want a zoo.
Even on a small screen on your TV, it just jumps off the screen. It's so good. And my kids still love it. It still lands so well. And, Howard Ashman, you could have written so many more. But anyway, Friend Like Me, though, and I had shared this story with you, and when Amanda and I saw each other in person just a week ago. It was very exciting because Amanda lives in Boston, if listeners don't know, and I live down in the D.C. area. But my son, this is a day after we watched part of the movie, and he's just playing with his Legos in the basement, and he starts singing Friend Like Me, but replacing the word friend with fart. He's 7. And that's what he does.
That's really on point.
It is. And there's...
creative.
Yeah.
Points to Isaac.
And he was just singing it to himself. Like, he wasn't singing it to, like, ham it up. He was just thought it was funny and amusing himself with singing, "You Never Had a Fart Like Me." That's what he did. So,
like, by himself?
Oh, it was kind of funny.
Never had a fart like me. What?
Someone needs to record this ASAP.
On point. No notes, Isaac. That's perfect.
I know. It's pretty funny.
Should we talk about Aladdin?
Yeah. Hey, is he in this movie? Tell me about Aladdin.
So our titular character here. This viewing, I was listening and I was like, this voice is so familiar. And not just from, because I feel like I could do every line from this movie Aladdin by heart, because we had the clamshell.
You had the classic clamshell VHS.
The plastic clamshell. He is familiar, even though, like, not a household name. He played the boyfriend, Steve, on Full House. And I guess he's now in the TV show Fuller House, I'm assuming as one of their husbands. But he just has that, like, California kind of, like, bro vibe about him. Not quite a Ninja Turtle, but, like, he's Aladdin, man. What's up?
Yeah.
We like Aladdin. He's a flawed hero, but it did make me start questioning his whole, they build him up, he's the diamond in the rough. It's like, is he? Or, like, was he just the closest of a number of diamonds like in the rough? Like Jafar's ring spell.
Maybe he needed to go further than Agrabah, is what you're saying?
Maybe. Well, no, it seems like Agrabah's got, like, millions of people living there. But, like, was he the closest proximity? Or, like, how does that work? Because he's a nice guy, he's stealing food and giving it to orphans if he sees them going through trash cans. But, like, also the moment where he finally has something to lose, he immediately takes back his promise to free the genie. So, like, I'm feeling maybe he's not that special. Yeah. He just doesn't seem like the only one in Agrabah who would have been good enough to go in and get that.
It's a good point. Someone had to say it. As a kid, I loved him. Great hero. And I think even now I kind of still like him. I think he's a flawed hero, but still pretty decent. And this is a really weird thing to say, but there's weirdly not a ton of, like, decent male heroes in Disney movies. They're all very... I'm not trying to be like, what is it, a man feminist? I am not trying to do that.
No.
But there's
they
really
don't get a lot of lines.
They don't. There's like a gender reversal in Disney movies, which is fine. And I think that Simba's an asshole in The Lion King, so I actually think this is one of the only kind of ones until you get to more modern ones like Luca. But anyway, so there's that. You have the decent guy. I think he, as far as royalty husbands go, or boyfriends, you can kind of see a through line to Kristoff, to Frozen, although I'd argue Kristoff is much better. Yeah, I kind of thought Aladdin got a little whiny when he was like, I have to be Sultan. Oh my God. And he starts complaining to the genie, you made me do this. And I'm like, dude, Aladdin, he did exactly what you wished for.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is a cynical adult. I think in a kid's eye, they still really like him and want to root for him. Like, there's nothing cringy about him, honestly.
He would be an Eagle Scout or whatever.
There are moments where I'm like, Jasmine, I feel like you could do a little bit better.
She's got her act together, and, well, he's the only guy she's met, so...
I know, she's just in the castle.
I think she might be into him for the magic carpet, but, like, I don't want to go too deep down that.
She just likes his ride, that's it.
His ride gets her out of the palace.
Oh, that's true, that's a good point. Yeah, I think he's cool. I mean, I still buy the diamond in the rough thing, but you're totally right. As an adult, you're like, he's okay. Not
that city is full of diamonds in the rough.
Right?
That's all I'm saying.
There's gotta be.
They picked Aladdin. He was closest to the palace. He was hanging out with Jasmine at the time. The ring just kind of was like, there he is. But like, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean,
just a theory, fan theory. He wasn't
theory.
The only one.
My kids still like him. Focus group of 2. My son really likes when my son thinks he's really cool. Except the moment Aladdin starts getting infatuated with Jasmine, Isaac, Mr. Never had a fart like me, literally rolled his eyes and was like, "Oh my God." When Aladdin starts to be infatuated with Jasmine, like my son just was like, "Fuck this, just go steal some bread." Which I thought was funny.
Can I call out the opening scene where he's singing One Jump?
Yeah.
He is running around with a French baguette.
Yeah, that's a good point. What's that doing in
I'm
Aqaba?
not blaming Aladdin for this, and I don't think it's a Beauty and the Beast throwback. I genuinely think this is the Disney animators just not doing their research.
Being like, hey, we just drew bread for
baguettes.
Beauty and the Beast. Let's just throw it in here.
I'm good at baguettes. They're probably pretty good to hold while you're running. I don't know.
He's in this movie. It's named after him.
Yeah, no, sorry, Aladdin, you're fine. You're like a teenager.
Okay.
You're just making your way in the world.
Yeah, he would be like
we're overthinking it.
He'd be like the, I'm going to call him Marty McFly from Teen Wolf. Like, he's kind of vanilla.
He knew to rob the one French bakery in Agrabah. Like, get that baguette and run, man. So he is our hero. And, of course, he has a love interest. Princess Jasmine.
Yeah.
OG Tiger Queen.
OG Tiger Queen. Good. That's amazing. See, I was thinking, I had some cat lady jokes ready, but Tiger Queen's better.
No, I remember watching this and everyone was like, oh my God, don't we all want a pet tiger? No. Your emotional support tiger is not going to help you escape the palace. It's going to eat your ankles.
It's going to eat your face off. Yeah, pretty much.
This is not a thing.
Original Tiger
But yeah, no, I like Princess Jasmine. I think they were trying to give her a lot to do for, it's not her movie, but they're giving her a bit to do here. I think your daughter caught on to something at the end of this movie that you somehow did not.
I did not. I know.
But it struck my mind when I was a kid watching this, which is at the end, why doesn't she just borrow the lamp for 3 wishes, fix the patriarchy, and then hand it back and go, okay, now you can free the genie?
If folks don't remember, there's a big dramatic thing at the end where Aladdin has 1 wish left. He's clearly not a prince, which is like such a weird thing. Anyway, they've already vanquished Jafar, but it's this whole dramatic thing. Like, is he going to use his last wish to become a prince so he can marry Jasmine, or is he going to use it to free the genie? And it never occurred to me that he could just do his wish to become a prince and then hand the lamp over to Jasmine. I mean, that's such a plot hole.
Or just if she snatches it out of his hands and is like, all right, we're going to fix all these dumb rules.
Dumb fucking
I don't have to get married
rules.
in 3 days, because that was at the beginning of the movie. They're like, it's 3 days till her birthday and she legally has to get married.
Disney likes their road to marriages, and they put like legal contracts in the movie about it.
They like their timelines, and just like Beauty and the Beast, all this took place in 2 days. Like,
That's
great.
true.
Okay.
That's true.
Yeah.
Their road to marriages are really condensed.
Love of your life, 2 days.
When Lily identified that plot hole, I felt like, because it just occurred to her all of a sudden, it was like I watched her like basically leave her kid self behind and become an adult in that
just
moment.
like,
it was like
fail,
she grew up before
writers.
my eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, if Jasmine just was like, hold on, Aladdin, I need to borrow this and then you can free the genie. She's got it. She's like, all right, my whole life, I never left the palace, and there's going to be ladies all over the city doing the same thing. Genie.
Yeah.
Get rid of that rule.
I kind of want to see
don't
that
need
movie.
to wait for a prince. Yeah.
That's the movie I want to
see.
see.
She just goes ballistic with 3 wishes and then hands it back to him and is like, now he's not a genie anymore. Go for it, Aladdin.
Go for it.
We can get married and all that, but I'm really just into your magic carpet.
So basically, I'm just going to go live over here with my tiger and my magic carpet.
Yeah.
I mean,
my tiger and I are going to China every night to watch fireworks.
The thing is that I actually really like Jasmine in this, and I liked it even as a kid. Because I do think she's like the first, not the first, but this is the transition where they actually do give the princesses more agency and have more character development. I mean, if we could go back to, and listeners, this is a reference to, we did Peter Pan, which is from 1979. I mean, Maid Marian has like fucking nothing going on in that movie.
Oh.
And you go here, 15 years later, and all of a sudden, Jasmine is saying, I am not a prize to be won, which is a line that resonated with me as a 12-year-old. I still remembered it, and I thought it still landed now. She only wants to marry for love. Her fucking father's a moron, and she knows it.
I love the part where she with Aladdin in disguise, and they're like pole vaulting across the buildings, and she just turns to him after he was like trying to set up like a ladder system for her, and she just whips herself across and turns around and goes, I'm a fast learner.
Yeah, no, I love
like,
that.
Boom.
And I love that she, at some point, when Aladdin comes as the Prince Ali, and she totally knows it's Aladdin, she basically plays along and then tricks him into revealing himself. Yeah. So, she's
hey, how's your monkey?
Right, exactly. How's a boo? He's
fine.
J'accuse. I like that. And I remember liking it as a kid, and I think it still resonates. Like, she's a fully developed character here. Not that I have a PhD in Disney princesses, but I might as well have one. This is a giant leap ahead from where they were like 15 years ago. And
yes,
Disney does less of the road to marriage stuff now, but I think she still lands as a good character. I think she was even an improvement from Belle, who was already pretty good.
I would give Belle, aside from the Stockholm Syndrome, I think Belle is slightly more female friendly, but yeah. We're not here to discuss that right now. Maybe a future
episode. Yeah, we're going to have like a whole princess ranking.
Like,
yeah.
The Disney princess cage match. Let's do
but like, no, Thunderdome match. I mean, let's just go all in.
Oh my God, yeah. Jasmine's got a chainsaw. Belle has a sledgehammer. Oh God, you could put anything in a Thunderdome.
Oh my God, be a fucking mess.
Oh, now I just want to go down the side road of like, who's going to win all this? Is it Moana? Is it Elsa?
See, but Elsa has powers.
Like, not Ariel. Ariel would get like destroyed in that. She just seems so naive. She's only 16.
It's true. Mulan has to win, right? She's
right.
A warrior.
Yeah, I think Mulan would kill everyone.
I would argue the live action version of the Mulan, but yeah.
Elsa would be bringing the spite, and she's got like magical ice fingers.
It's true. It's true.
Wow, this really does need to be a whole
does.
recording. I
feel like Elsa. Oh my God, I can't. I can't live with myself and actually talk about this seriously. This is ridiculous. I'm going with Mulan.
Disney Princess Thunderdome. Guys, we need this to happen.
You know how
Disney,
we like to manifest? We've manifested Beetlejuice. So let's do it. Let's manifest the Thunderdome version.
Disney Thunderdome. Disney Princess.
It's sort of more like Hunger Games, but yeah. Yeah. All right, so
at least Saturday Night Live. Are you listening? We need to see this.
We need to see this. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the bad guy in this movie, Jafar. He's friggin' creepy.
He is the creepiest of villains in any Disney movie, and I will die on that hill. There has not been one creepier villain than Jafar. And he was creepy, too, to an 11, 12-year-old watching this. Like, he's a creep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who he's the predecessor to? And I do not remember this character's name. Did you ever see The Hunchback of Notre Dame?
A long time ago.
Yeah. I want to say he's like a Catholic bishop or something in that movie. Like, he's with the
vaguely.
church, but he's, like, sexually fantasizing about the female lead in that movie in a super creepy way. Like, I feel like Jafar opened the door. Yeah, it's a kid's movie, but what if we had that dirty old man hitting on the female lead? Yeah. Oh, we could draw that. That would be fun. Like,
but it also
Disney,
rings as creepy to kids. I mean, like,
it's
this
so
is
creepy.
not something that goes over like a tween's head. Like, they see it. Like, he's saying pussycat. Like, he's fucking gross.
It's uncomfortable to watch. It was uncomfortable to watch in Hunchback of Notre Dame there too. I saw that more as probably a teenager because I think I took my younger sister to see that one. Music is not as good. Let's take the safe space of this magical movie and put a creeper in it.
But it works. He's a villain. He is like the weirdest villain. Like, more so than, I thought Ursula was awesome actually for Little Mermaid, but we haven't even done that episode. But and
like Gaston, you don't like him. He is creepy and cringy, but like, yeah, get him. He's just a guy with an ego and a vanity issue.
Yeah, this guy's a weirdo.
He's less creepy somehow.
Sort of essence of like Alan Rickman as the Sheriff of Nottingham in the live action.
But so much creepier. Although, like, Master of Disguise, and he is lightened slightly by the fact that he is the most sarcastic parrot, undercutting everything
like
he's saying and
Iago.
doing. I love Iago.
Yeah.
Like,
what's the name of the actor?
And the fact that
it's
that's Gilbert Godfrey
yeah.
playing. So the parrot Iago, who's just sitting on his shoulder, pretending to be a dumbass parrot. Crackers, and then like whispering into Jafar's ear, "I hate this guy so much."
Funny.
Where'd you get this bozo? He is great. Without Iago, I think Jafar would have been so much scarier. But yeah, just having a fun, snarky parrot is fun to watch.
It tones him down. It's weird to say that Gilbert Godfrey could possibly tone someone down, but he does. Yeah. He does bring a kind of humor to it that's even still funny as an adult rewatching it.
The two of them have a weird bickering relationship with each other, even though it's a human with a parrot, which makes it hilarious at the end that they get shoved into a lamp together for all eternity. I mean, Iago the parrot is just... I would hang out with him. I would love to get drunk with that parrot. That is a fun parrot.
I want Iago the parrot. I want Smee from Hook / Peter Pan.
I want those two guys in the Muppet Show to
oh my god, that would be a great party. We could have a whole villain party. They don't have to participate in the Thunderdome situation that we've come up with.
No, I want them perched on the Thunderdome.
They're the commentators.
The whole thing. Yeah, I just want their color commentary on everything that's crossing through their brains. Like,
well, Disney's listening. Someone's listening. Someone's going to make this. Yeah. It's going to be great.
All right, Thunderdome with heckling.
Yes,
somebody. And then we have not talked about the all-time.
I know we kind of saved the best for last year.
In this movie, I would argue this is the greatest character in any Disney movie.
I think that's I can't dispute it. There are no lies detected here. We're talking about the genie, everybody. We're
getting to the genie. I watched this movie so many times as a kid on that plastic clamshell-y thing, VHS cassette. It's almost like a different movie is going on before the genie jumps in there. Yeah. It's pretty, it's fun. They're building up characters and plot, whatever. But in my notes while I was watching this, I was just like, release Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Like, rub the lamp.
Release him.
Robin Williams into this movie. It is the all-time greatest Disney performance. And half of his joke references are so dated. He's making impressions of people who haven't been on television for 40 years or like actors who have died.
And they're references that you and I wouldn't even get.
We didn't get as kids. Yeah. They're so old. You know, Ed McMahon jokes, Jack Nicholson humor.
That's
like,
right.
What
he does
are we
a
doing?
Good Jack Nicholson.
It doesn't matter at all. Like, you get that he's making fun of something. Doesn't matter what it is. He's bringing so much energy and mayhem to this character that it just, like, blows your head up. Like,
yeah.
I couldn't take notes during that scene where he comes flying out of the lamp and he does just this whole... It's ad-libbed, I'm pretty sure.
It has to be.
Robin Williams just shouting whatever the hell he wants. And Aladdin staring at him like, what is happening? And I could not write down notes fast enough to keep up with Robin Williams. It is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's so good. So good. And I noticed that too, and I even noticed this the first time I watched this with the kids a few years ago, that the references are old and they go by so fast. Like, Robin Williams is such a manic chaos Muppet, essentially. Even as an adult now, I was like, oh yeah, I forget. I get this as a kid, and I was trying to keep up. There's no way my kids kept up or got even a third of those jokes, but it's still so fun. He has crazy presence on screen, still does. Like, all his songs land. He's funny, but he's also the character himself, and I think it's really Robin Williams coming through. He's caring too. He's a great sidekick. He probably is one of the more memorable characters ever for Disney, and
I would argue the greatest.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah,
he explodes onto the screen.
Yeah,
you don't know what he's about to do, and you don't really care. Just let him fly. Let him do the whole thing. He takes it to 11. He's everywhere. It's just insane. You can't keep up with him. Your brain is processing like the joke from 3 minutes ago that he just said. Like, what is happening? Quick.
And there are other characters we've talked about that kind of take it up to 11 and go crazy. Like, Beetlejuice is one that comes to mind, but they don't always kind of live up.
Yeah. And it being Disney, like, there wasn't anything pervy or cringy coming out of his mouth, or if there was, they just cut that part out.
There probably was, yeah.
Yeah, there's probably a whole, like, on the floor of the editing room, Robin Williams said something that you're like, no, that would take the rating up. Like,
but there's some funny, like, there's a moment, this scene that I guess I picked up on as a kid, but more so as an adult, where, you know, Aladdin is Prince Ali and he's trying to talk to Jasmine, who's already pissed off because she's just like, I'm not a prize to be won. So Aladdin has an uphill battle and he's trying to talk and Aladdin's like totally awkward and Genie kind of is whispering in his ear, trying to suggest how to compliment Jasmine. He's trying to be a like Casanova kind of thing. And he's like, compliment her hair, do this. I don't know, pick a feature. I thought that was such a funny line. Pick a feature to compliment.
Pick a feature.
I know.
He's like acting out their conversation just crashing and burning.
Oh, that's
on the side. And he's like, Mayday, Mayday. And then just whips around and he's like, do you want me to sting her? Like, I love that. Like, because he shrinks himself down into a bee. Want me to sting her?
Be yourself. And so you have jokes in so many layers. The joke about being a bee, my 7-year-old could think is funny. But then you and I think some of that other stuff is funny. Like,
like, imagine having a genie heckling your attempts to woo someone and failing so badly. Funny. Like, Mayday, Mayday.
Yeah, want me to sting her? Yeah.
Want me to sting her?
It all still lands. It's so fun. Yeah. But I did like, I guess the one tiny bit of depth I'll add, you kind of see more of the sweetness and the caring in the characters that they've created for this essential sidekick that, you know, I don't know if I picked up on that as a kid, but it's definitely there.
I mean, you trust him, you know, there's something very likable and you feel like you're in a safe space with this genie.
Yeah.
This blue genie that just popped out of a lamp. Surprise.
So proud.
And yeah, that's just, Robin Williams was just so, he could go so crazy, but then also be such a nice, you know, oh, Captain, my Captain. Like, he was just the best.
Yeah,
so.
He really was. So there's like this weird sadness too, because, you know, he's no longer with us. Howard Ashman's no longer with us. And you kind of think, like, that's very sad. It's a little sad. But
it is.
Really great performance. You know, Robin Williams, I would seek him out in any movie after seeing this as a kid.
I saw, there's a really good documentary, I think it's on HBO, but just about like the life of Robin Williams. And it showed how he really had to push himself and get revved up to act like this. Like, this isn't his natural state, being bonkers. And that he would do these performances and then really just have to shut down and be quiet for days after stuff like this. That he would switch between, like, you know, save everything you got and then go bananas and then, like, cocoon yourself back in and, like, build up the energy again to do it again. I feel like he, like, just gave his all and stuff like this.
Yeah.
And then apparently closed off and needed to recover from being a genie. But, oh, God, yeah, he had such an influence on our childhood and all these movies he was in.
Or just what comedy could be. I mean, just the quickness of it, the wittiness of it, the kindness, too. Like, there's a lot of comedy that's mean-spirited, and it's not mean-spirited. Yeah. It's just sort of fun. I totally agree. I'd measure all other comedic sidekick characters, which are in all the Disney movies. Yeah. There's really nothing that lives up to this one. He's the best.
I actually hurt and I can't stop laughing. Like, it just took
I remember
over.
Laughing really hard too as a kid. And I think this Robin Williams is the reason where I'm like, I just can't bring myself to watch the live action remake. I just can't, because I'm like, I just don't even want to, because there's just no way a performance could live up to that.
Yeah, sorry, Will Smith.
Sorry, Will Smith. And listeners, if you've seen
are
it,
up against the goat here.
If we're wrong, let us know. I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
I did listen to him singing. It's just not the same energy.
Yeah. All right. That solidifies it for me.
Yeah. All right. There's a couple other characters in this movie. Disney loves a good animal sidekick. Whether you've got a teapot or whether you've got like a hummingbird or just
there's a chicken in Moana. There's a reindeer in Frozen. Yeah. It's always there.
I've never had a pet that behaves as intuitively as Abu the monkey does in this movie.
I love Abu the monkey.
I mean, he's a pickpocket and he's jealous of you have a girlfriend now. He's basically like your little best friend who
I actually really
mad you're moving on.
I love how pouty Abu is once Aladdin.
He's like a little petty. It's adorable.
It's so great. I mean, honestly, this is the movie in my head that when I goddamn rewatched Raiders of the Lost Ark, that I was like wholly upset that a monkey gets like murdered.
Well, they're both monkeys wearing fezzes, but the one in that movie is evil and working for the Nazis.
I know. I guess you could kill the Nazi monkey. That's fine. Abu, I would say, is my favorite. I just, not at the same level of Genie, but he's my favorite animal sidekick. I think he's the funniest. I think he just acts. I think the animators just make him act with his face. They make him petty. They make him funny. They make him a pickpocket.
Even the little voice is adorable.
Yeah, it's like...
Yeah, he's like scratchy little voice there. It's cute.
It's very cute. Yeah, I like him.
He's not as fun when he's an elephant. Although...
Is anyone as really fun when they turn into an elephant?
There's that gag where he's just trying to open a banana and he just keeps squashing them, and they show the entire pile of bananas that he's squashed without actually opening any of them, and he's just so frustrated.
It's kind of funny.
It's really funny. He was probably just stealing apples from different parts of the palace the whole time for the rest of his life. But
totally.
Jasmine has Raja, her tiger. Raja doesn't talk or make any fun noises, but apparently is a good emotional support tiger, so gives good hugs, I think.
When it's not trying to eat your face. Yeah.
He didn't eat her. I mean...
I know. There you go.
Win. It's a win. And then, not an animal, but the magic carpet. It's kind of dog-like.
I like the magic carpet. It sort of has a little bit of essence of all the animated objects in Beauty and the Beast. It has a personality. Yeah. It's like a great helper character that doesn't speak.
It's a people-pleasing magic carpet. It seems sad when they yell at him.
I know. It's like they make him expressive. I enjoyed the magic carpet.
And I do think Jasmine's marrying Aladdin for the unlimited magic carpet rides. Let's talk random thoughts. Plot holes?
Plot holes?
This isn't... Well, no, it is a plot hole, but apparently they decided not to do this for a reason. So this movie starts, we watch a vendor, crossing the desert on a camel, and they're doing Arabian Nights, and then you have Robin Williams doing the voice of this man who's trying to sell you some Tupperware, and then eventually the lamp, and sets up the whole story that we're about to watch. They never go back to him to finish the story and close it out. Yeah. I guess the original script did, that it took it back there and then it revealed, oh, hey, the guy trying to sell you the Tupperware is actually the genie in disguise. Yeah. And doesn't that make sense? Because it was Robin Williams doing the voice. That did pop out to me. Like, this guy started telling a story and just, like, left us in the story. And we never got back to the guy telling the story. That's true.
They never came around to it.
Like, do we, the viewers, end up buying the lamp? I don't know.
They probably wanted to leave it open for sequels or something.
And they made a few. I never saw
Me either.
Let's talk about things that suck or are cringy in Aladdin.
Really just one thing for me. It must be the same thing for you. It's really just gotta be it's like Come Here Pussycat from Jafar is so weird.
Just so this whole like let's dress Jasmine up in another seductive outfit and have her on a chain like Princess Leia and Jabba.
Little bit Princess Leia vibes, yeah.
So earlier in the movie they were talking about how he was gonna, like, the plot was Jafar was gonna marry Jasmine and, like, trick the dad into it. And then they were gonna kill her and the dad and take power. Mm-hmm. But then in this scene, he's not trying to kill her anymore. He's trying to get her to marry him. Yeah. Still. But it's like, no, the plot was you just get her hand in marriage to get yourself some sort of authority in this weird government where the princess needs to get married before some birthday here. It just... doesn't make sense because Jafar doesn't like her. He hates her. He was gonna kill her.
I know.
There's no reason to like dress her up sexy and chain her and, you know.
It's weird. I mean,
it's a Jabba's palace there. It's a weird
It's a weird scene. It's not enough parents to not show this to your kids. To me, it doesn't make it so cringy that I'm like, oh God. But it's weird. I mean, it was weird then, too. It's very strange. Yeah. It just also feels, like, super out of place. I always feel like I'm clutching my pearls on this one, but it is odd.
No, I felt weird as a kid.
I did, too. I was just like,
I think a lot of people did.
Yeah, it is weird.
Yeah. So, yes, we both think that is cringy. One thing, actually, we didn't talk about, some of the animation is a little Tom and Jerry-ish.
Yeah.
to be funny, but there's also these moments that are visually stunning. Like right in the beginning, the storyteller takes the lamp and pours gems out of it into his hand and then throws them up into the sky as he's starting telling the story. And it's over the desert. And it is
really nice.
The animation is beautiful. They are using more computer animation in this one.
You could tell.
A tiny amount of computer animation in Beauty and the Beast, but all the sequences where he's on the carpet and they're racing like a lava flow out of the cave, that's all computer animated. It doesn't look bad though.
No, what I mean by you could tell is that there is a difference between this movie and Beauty and the Beast. You could really see it. And I remember thinking that at the time, partly because people were talking about it too. It just feels more visually kind of stunning.
I noticed in the credits there's a thank you Pixar.
Oh, really? I didn't notice that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think that it may have been in Beauty and the Beast too, but that was the first time I noticed thank you.
Interesting.
We partnered with Pixar on Aladdin.
Oh, okay.
I picked this movie to review because I was just really in the mood to see something with Robin Williams.
Aww.
And this is one of the most satisfying Robin Williams performances. It's so good.
So good.
And so sweet. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
We love that guy. He just made our childhoods.
Just to like put on the nostalgia blanket and wrap myself in it. This movie does that. I mean, this is more my kind of closing argument for it. It's still funny. It's still kind of a good time. The songs are still great. And it's nice to know that all that stuff is still there for you.
Yeah. With all the cultural stuff I was talking about, the warning that Disney put at the beginning almost is like too much real world being applied to, we're in a fantasy city. It was supposed to be Baghdad, but like really this is a fake city with fake magic going on all around it, and you're just in this removed place. You fully go into it, and then the movie ends and you're kind of left like, damn it, I'm back in the real world now.
Yeah.
But like that's a sign of a really great movie. It's the escapism that you need when you really got to get out of town. To quote Aladdin, Jessica, you have infinite cosmic power.
Infinite cosmic powers. I am playing the role of the Order Muppet because Amanda's fan is hard to edit out.
My computer's being loud.
Yeah. So I'm going to do it.
So Jess has taken control of the spreadsheet.
I have the spreadsheet. I am the Order Muppet this time, which is a role reversal. Sorry that I fired your computer. Anyway, So we're on to ratings. So folks that are new to us, so we are going to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10. We're first going to rate it for did it live up to us as adults? And then we're going to rate it for does it live up to kids today? The scale is 1 is garbage, 10 is Princess Bride. We start with adults. What do you got for me, Amanda?
I am giving this a 7.5.
7.5.
Which
I'm typing because I'm an Order Muppet.
She's the Order Muppet today. I'm dinging it slightly because I think the whole Jafar hitting on Jasmine and chaining her in a bikini top at the end was very uncomfortable as an adult. It was equally uncomfortable when I was a kid. And I don't think that needed to be in there.
So you gave Beauty and the Beast a 9.
I did. I really enjoyed watching that as an adult. That made me happy.
I mean, this tracks. I get it.
I stand by this. Like, I think I enjoyed the Addams Family slightly more. I enjoyed Edward Scissorhands slightly more. So, yeah. Jasmine's chained to Jafar thing, gross. And the warning that then made me on high alert looking for everything you did wrong. And also, like, Aladdin would not be running around with a baguette. There.
It's the baguette. The baguette knocked you down from a 9 to a 7.5.
The baguette was the 0.5. Yeah, it was a ding for the baguette.
So I'm going to say a 7. So I really, really like this. It was a really great watch. It's all still there. There's no deeper meaning, so that's why it's not as high, maybe. I think but I still went higher than Beauty and the Beast. I really knocked Beauty and the Beast down because the Stockholm Syndrome really bothered me. But yeah.
You went low on Beauty and the Beast. Yeah.
It's all right. You made up for it.
Fair enough.
So that is a 14.5 for adults. So kid rating now, same scale.
Pretty good.
Yeah, same scale, kid rating. Yeah. So we should say the kid rating, meaning does it live up to kids today? So yes, we've talked about how we loved it as kids, but does this live up to kids today? Same scale.
I think it does, based on hearing your son singing about farts.
Yeah, never had a fart like me.
This movie.
Yeah.
Sounds like he had a lot of fun. So I think kids do enjoy this. I want to give it 8.5.
8.5. I also gave it an 8.5. I think it's great.
Hey.
Again, the music is great. This is why these are high scores.
Yeah.
It still resonates. All the things. So that's, do I say the score?
31.5.
31.5, which is pretty high.
It.
So
that's high.
It's high. It's not the only thing. Our final question is, does this live up overall? We both have to agree for the podcast to deem it live up. And we have had split decisions. I think I know where we're going, but what do you think?
Well, I'm never going to get to relive the moment I watched this for the very first time and like nearly died from laughing. But I knew that.
I mean, you're not rewatching this in Disney World right before you break your nose.
Yeah, I am a less joyful person ever since breaking my nose.
That was your
Mountain.
peak, hiding a camera.
Yes. So, yes, this does live up. I think it's got its flaws, but much like Aladdin, he's a diamond in the rough, but he is a flawed hero in this movie. This is a really good, but with a few flaws, Disney movie, and I think it's still very enjoyable and does live up. So, yes, from me.
For me, there's not much of an argument against it. So I'd say yes, it definitely lives up. I think this is one, not only are you going to show it to your kids if you haven't already, but they're probably going to like it and rewatch it without you, like they did with, like my kids did.
Yeah, it does still live up. And if for nothing else, like go relive the just joy that was Robin Williams fully unleashed, taking it to 11.
Absolutely. I almost feel like in the hands of anybody else, it might have gotten stale or stupid, and it doesn't. No, you're totally right. I think it could live up just for him, and it's totally worth it. So this officially lives up, and obviously we've been cavelling over this, but listeners, if you don't agree, yell at Amanda on the socials. She's not on the socials, which is funny. So at Live Up Pod,
yeah, try to yell at
Amanda. You're not going to find her.
Come at me. Yep.
At Live Up Pod on all the socials. At Live Up Pod at Gmail. Tell us what you think. What did we miss? What's your favorite song? All the things.
Never had a fart like
never.
Me.
You're never going to unhear that then.
Nope.
All right. Thanks for listening.
All right. Thanks for listening.